All right, everybody, let's talk about financial planning and specifically to your business. So, what do you need to do? When do you need to do it? I'm going to break that down for you right now. I am an expert at this because before I got into real estate, this is what I used to do for a $500 million business. So, let's start just with kind of the high level. What are the various steps and the process, and what are we doing here? So, first, the highest level is what is your 10-year vision? And we're not talking about numbers, revenue targets, investments you're going to need to hit the revenue targets. We're not talking about any numbers like that. Just where is the vision, the high level, where are you going? And a little bit about how you're going to get there. But this is more about words and what you want to create and less about numbers. So once you kind of have that in place, then we start getting down into it and the actual financial planning of it. So based on this 10-year vision and where we want to be in 10 years, let's create a 3-year plan for getting us on that trajectory. So that's the first stop in our financial planning continuum, which is what I like to call it. So what is the 3-year plan? So it's a little bit higher level than if we were saying we're going to look at our monthly P&L. But what it is, again, it's how do we get on that trajectory to hit that 10-year vision? So what we're going to be looking at is our 3-year plan for the next 3 years. So currently we're in 2018, so this would be our forecast for what we're going to do in 2019, 2020, and 2021. And we would have revenue targets associated with that. And based on those revenue targets, because you always want to forecast starting with revenue, because you want to make sure you're going to be profitable and you can maintain those margins. So based on those revenue targets that you can achieve, there's two kind of components to the expense side. Number one is what investments are you going to have to make in order to hit those revenue targets? So if there's people you need to hire, if there's investments that you need to make in assets in order to hit those numbers, then those need to be in your numbers. And then everything else, basically just what are your current expenses that you have, and based on the ones that are going to continue, what level are they going to continue at? Could they go up in the next few years? And you need to plan for some of that stuff. So you got your revenue targets, number one, of what you think you can do, and to get you on that trajectory to your 10-year vision. And then on the expense side, it's what are our ongoing costs that we have now that are going to continue, and then what additional costs are we going to have to incur in the future in the form of investments, and it can be both in assets and people. So you want to have those in kind of your 3-year plan. So the next thing below that is our budget. And when I'm talking about the budget, that is, what is our budget going to be for the next year? So we're in 2018, so it's what is our 2019 going to look at, or going to look like, excuse me. So once we have that set in stone, then the next thing we have are forecasts. So we don't just set a budget one time, forget about it, and not update it at all. There are 3 times during the year that we actually go ahead, like we're in 2018, we're in May, so we should be looking at, okay, based on what we've done through April, and within the 17 days that we've gone through so far in May, what do we think we're going to do between now and the end of the year? And what does that look like? So it's basically taking that budget, and now that we have actuals through April, we pretty much know what May and June are going to be like. So it's a matter of what's the forecast for July through December. And again, what's our revenue going to be? So what do our expenses have to be in order to maintain our profit margins? And then if we do need to make any adjustments as sort of expenses in order to hit those numbers, then we need to be planning for that. Then it also is kind of a check on, hey, if we need this revenue target, is that achievable with everything that we have in-house today? Can we do that with the actions that we know we need to do, either open houses, telephone prospecting, referral generator, any sort of online marketing you're doing? So that's the forecast, and we do that 3 times a year. And then every month, you should be generating a profit and loss and looking at that, analyzing that. How does that compare to your budget? How does that compare to your most recent forecast? And then where are you off, and what adjustments do you need to make to get back on track? Because again, we want to go here, and we need to make sure that we're in line with what we said here, what we said here, what we said here, and if not, what adjustments that we need to make. So these are kind of the different steps here. Now this kind of shows kind of the cycle, if you will. So it all kind of, higher level, it all starts off with a 3-year plan and like our second forecast for the year. And so this ideally would be completed at the end of May every year, where we would look at this, both these. We'd start off by updating our forecast for what we think we can do for 2018, and then we would be making projections based on that 2018, where we think we're going to land, what 19, 20, and 21 are going to look like or need to look like in order for us to be on track to this 10-year vision. So this is kind of the first step, if you will, in the planning process. The second step, and this would happen by the end of October, probably start on it, you just do it in the month of October. What you're going to do is, again, you're going to update your forecast. Now you have actuals all the way through September. You probably know at that point in time what October and November and even what December is really going to look like. So you basically have your whole year kind of in front of you, and you kind of know what it's going to be. So now we can take an initial stab at what is our budget going to be like for 2019, and we would do that in October. So once that's done, then we would come to the end of January, and that'd be January of 2019, and what we would do is we would know what January actuals are at that time, and again, we're going to have a good idea of what February and March are going to look like, and so based on that, we have a 2019 forecast, and then kind of the final budget. Hey, this is what we really think that we're going to be able to do. Kind of lockstep those. It's just kind of we have this prelim budget that we did back here. It's just kind of adjusting anything we need to, any adjustments that we need to make for anything that happened between October and January. Just gives us that opportunity to finalize that once and for all. We would actually finalize this probably in the beginning of January, and then lock this down, this first forecast at the end of January. Even we could do it in February, whatever you want to do. So those are kind of the steps and how the cycle kind of runs itself throughout the year. At each one of these 3 points during the year, you're also going to be reviewing your 10-year vision, make sure it's still valid, see if there's any adjustments that you need to make. And then on a monthly basis, like we talked about, you're going to be producing a P&L to compare to each one of these points. Where am I? Where am I overachieving? Am I underachieving? What do I need to do to get back on track? Do I just need to continue where I'm at? I'm on the path, and all that good stuff. So this is kind of at a high level the planning process that you should be doing in your business. So just wanted to share that with you. If you need any help with any of this, give me a call, 678-761-2493. Hit me up on Facebook, and have a fantastic day.